Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today, man, you see the title, right? TikTokers are so proud to be complete scumbags, and I'll say technically, like, what we're about to take a look at here is an example of something that really can happen at any time, but considering the fact that people on TikTok like to, for whatever reason, film themselves behaving this way, or just acting like the biggest losers possible whenever they go around other people, right? I think it rings true, man. I think it rings true that so many people on TikTok and social media in general are just proud to be pieces of shit, to just be the biggest scumbags possible, going around bothering other people, trying to ruin their day, ruin their time for content and bullshit like that. The example we're about to take a look at here is actually weirdly personal to me because I've done some story times here on the channel. Before I did YouTube, back when I was still in school, I worked at Little Caesars, and that's exactly where this is all taking place at in this video. And the guy in this video is, in my opinion, clearly trying to scam the place out of a refund or whatever. And I don't know if I've mentioned or talked about this in those story times in the past, but this shit happened constantly when I worked there too. We had people call from churches who would like try to order 20 or 30 pizzas ahead of time, and then they would like come back after eating half of it and try and get it for free and shit. Like we had people who were clearly just scumbags. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. People trying to rip off the business, trying to get one over on you, you know what I mean, right? So seeing this video, it just kind of reminds me of the days making $8.25 an hour and having to deal with this bullshit. And so I'll admit, maybe I am just a tad bit biased in this video, but I mean, as someone who has quite literally experienced pretty much exactly what's happening in this video in person before TikTok was popular, it just really rings home with me. So this guy, he gets a Little Caesars pizza, and then he eventually comes back after eating half of the food, and he tries to return it for a refund. Okay, I get it, right? You didn't like your food, you want a refund. So I don't do typical sponsors here on my videos anymore, man. I figured who better to promote than me. So today I'm gonna show you guys my new merch. I'm proud of this drop, the quality of the hoodies, the t-shirts, the long sleeves, the beanies, and more. Best of all, it's made right here in the USA, in Philadelphia and in Los Angeles. These things are durable, they're comfortable, nice polish to the artwork, great embroidery for the products that have that. And look, man, even if you're watching this, right, you're like, man, I hate this motherfucker, right? I can't stand his videos. You know what? Fuck it, bro. Buy one of these anyway, man. Buy 6 of them. I don't care. Look, you're watching me burn one right now. You can do the same exact thing at home. And look, for every single piece of merch you order, we're gonna be planting 3 trees globally to help third world citizens also get some stable pay and impact the world. And just for supporting, I'm gonna throw y'all 10% off any order you make for all of March with code MARCH over at www.shoptimus.net. You see that on the screen, www.shoptimus.net. And hey, look, if your parents, your girlfriend, your wife, your landlord, your dog, whoever, they've got something to say, oh, don't buy that Optimus merch, tell them I said to stop being a greedy ass motherfucker and to buy you a hoodie or two. 10% off with code MARCH over at www.shoptimus.net. Thank you guys for watching and hope you enjoy the video.
Staphylococcus meningitis. He got staphylococcus from all of this garlic butter.
That's not what I said.
You can keep your napkin though. I'll give you your money back. You don't have to record me. I know what I said.
All right, pretty early into the video, right? And I mean, you see how it's going. Right from the start of the video, the Little Caesars employee is yelling. She tosses the napkin back into his car, right? So for a lot of people, they see this clip and the way it starts, and they probably assume that the employee is just, oh, she's a bitch. She's being rude. There's no reason for this. Now, I will say, is it the most professional way to act, especially as a manager? Absolutely not. Do I condone acting this way? Not necessarily, but is this behavior the byproduct of this guy politely asking for a refund, or is it the result of him trying to get one over on the store and then record the employee for shaming on social media? So what's interesting about this is the video starts mid, like, fight or conversation, whatever you want to call it, right? It does not show the beginning of the conversation, and I think there's a very interesting reason why, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. But for now, all I'll say is, this fucking tattoo is all I need to know about this guy right here.
I didn't call you and say I got food poisoning.
No, it's just I came in here to. Am I allowed? Can I say?
It's all gone, and you've got garlic butter all over it. No wonder you got sick.
Oh, gone. Can I? Am I allowed to talk or?
Wait, you just talked before you turned your camera on, though, right? Right, Mister? I got food poisoning.
No, I said about 3. I said about 3 words before you started yelling at me.
Really?
Yeah.
Even your pizza knows you're a liar.
You need to work on your customer service.
I don't let liars come to my store.
I am not a
You
liar.
said you got staphylococcus meningitis
I
from
said-
garlic butter. That is a lie.
You guys work for this?
Am I supposed to ask his just because you bought a $7.99?
No!
Okay, I'm refunding you. Drop it. Thank you.
No, you called me a moron.
All right, so like I said, you'll notice that half of the fucking food is gone, okay? Now, I'm not a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon or anything like that, right? But I have to assume that if you were willing and capable of eating half the fucking pizza and breadsticks or whatever that you got from this place, that whatever it was couldn't have been that bad, you know what I mean? Like if I went and I got a steak at a steakhouse and I look down at it and it looks like that fucking burger that killed the food inspector off SpongeBob, I'm not eating that shit. I'm not putting it anywhere near my body. In fact, I'm going to raise a concern right then and there. But of course, this guy, he goes home, chows the fuck down, and then I guess at that point, he probably feels like, oh, I kind of want that $8 back I spent on this Little Caesars pizza. And so he goes back to the store. But of course, we live in a society where the consumer is always told, hey, the customer is right. The customer's always right. So what this has led to is a wave of over-entitled assholes who have no real reason to be complaining, basically thinking, oh, well, the customer's always right. And then they go back to stores and they act this fucking way. And they think that they can talk to the employees however they want. And then, of course, in a lot of these cases, when the employees start chipping back at them, they pull their phone out and start recording right then to, of course, make the context look bad. And then they'll post it to TikTok just like this. Now, other thing I wanted to mention here, guy said he apparently got, staphylococcal meningitis from eating this pizza at Little Caesars. Once again, I'm not a fucking brain surgeon. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor, right? I make commentary YouTube videos. So I've never had staph meningitis, so I looked it up, right? What causes it? What is the onset? What are the symptoms? Just to see if any of this guy's story actually lines up with what's going on here. And there's a pretty interesting find here about staphylococcal meningitis. And keep in mind, this is coming directly from the US government. I'm not just on fucking WebMD or anything, right? This is from medlineplus.gov, which is part of the National Library of Medicine. So I looked up causes of this, right? Staphylococcal meningitis is caused by Staphylococcus bacteria. It usually develops as a complication of surgery or as an infection that spreads through the blood from another site. Risk factors include infections of heart valves, past infection of the brain, past meningitis due to spinal fluid shunts, recent brain surgery, the presence of a spinal fluid shunt, trauma, and bloodstream infection with one of the bacteria. I'm going to assume that none of these have anything to do with purchasing a fucking pizza from Little Caesars, okay? So you might be like, oh, Optimus, sometimes these things spread other ways, you know, sometimes rare cases happen, right? And I get that, you know, sometimes shit happens not the way that we thought it was going to happen. I get it. So then I continued, look up the symptoms because this seems like a pretty severe infection to just get, you know, it's not like some fucking food poisoning, right? This is something a little bit more legit, right? So I looked up the symptoms and like I said, fever and chills, mental status changes, nausea and vomiting, sensitivity to light, severe headache, stiff neck. Other symptoms can include agitation, bulging fontanelles, I guess, I don't know. He's not an infant, doesn't really matter. Decreased alertness, poor feeding or irritability in children, rapid breathing, and unusual posture with the head and neck arched backwards. Okay, so just taking a look at this list of symptoms, this guy does not appear to be suffering from even a single one of them. I mean, if I had mental status changes, sensitivity to light, a stiff neck or muscles, my fucking head and neck arched backwards, I'm breathing all rapidly, I think the last thing I'm gonna do is get in the car and drive to my local Little Caesars for a fucking $8 refund on a pizza, okay? Usually, I would think you're not driving a car under those circumstances. Your ass is going to the hospital, you're gonna be in a hospital bed, and you're going to be getting treated for whatever this is. And then I also find out that staphylococcal meningitis is a very severe infection. In fact, it is pretty fatal, actually. If treatment is not started early enough, it actually increases the fatality rate. So, like I said, this guy, he got staphylococcal meningitis, very severe infection, you know, very hard to treat. Sometimes it's bacteria resistant, according to what I've seen. But this guy, you know, he's the miracle case where he didn't get any of these symptoms. He's not damn near dead in a fucking hospital bed or anything. And the place he's trying to get a refund from doesn't really seem like the place you're going to get this kind of infection. But yeah, he's all of a sudden saying and wanting this over a fucking $8 refund, like, but I'm supposed to, and this employee is supposed to believe and, like, actually think that that's the fucking case. And just to add to it, right, if you really did get staph meningitis from a Little Caesars, you know, it risked your life, you had to go get medical treatment, you did survive, your prognosis was good, which is more likely? A, this guy decides to go back to Little Caesars for an $8 refund, okay, and to get into a TikTok argument with the manager, or do you think he's going to sue the Little Caesars Corporation for at least the cost of his medical bills, pain and suffering, tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Which do you think is more likely? $8 refund and argument, or lawsuit settled out of court for the biggest payday of your life? Let's be fucking serious here. This guy did not get staph meningitis from his Little Caesars pizza. He's a fucking loser. He spent $8 on a pizza and then regretted it, probably because that was part of his rent money or whatever. Judging by his fucking tattoos, that's probably a fucking fresh tattoo. That might be a sleeve to this guy from whatever home tattoo studio he's getting his fucking tats from. And he realized that, and then he went back and started a big fucking conundrum, is filming this employee. And we know how this shit goes, right? When these employees end up getting filmed and go viral like this and whatever, lots of the times they end up getting fired, even though, yeah, they may have maybe not reacted perfectly, but ultimately this is how a lot of people would react in the same situation. Like, I get that these people are supposed to be professionals, but you have fucking losers like this who go tempt fate over an $8 pizza and just act like complete scumbags, and these employees most of the time are powerless to this shit. They can't say or do anything to these people because, well, they can get sued, they can get fired, whatever it may be, right? So there's this power dynamic where these fucking losers can behave this way if they choose to, and there's basically no repercussions other than people like me pointing and laughing at them, calling them fucking losers, right? Now, I guess it is technically possible that, once again, he did get staph meningitis from this pizza, but if that's the case, I really doubt that he would have gotten treated for it, left the hospital, and went back all in the same day. Considering it seems, from what I've read online too, this like staph meningitis shit usually takes 3 to 7 days for the onset of it. So you mean to tell me that this guy hung on to this one Little Caesars pizza for 3 to 7 days after eating half of it, and then got, you know, fucking staph meningitis, went to the hospital, survived, you know, had no complications or symptoms or whatever, and then once again went back through the fucking Little Caesars drive-through window to get his $8 refund? I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. I am not buying that that is what happened here. And I like how the video wraps up and the guy's like, but you called me a moron. It's like, yeah, you deserve to be called worse. If you ask me personally, I would have called you a fucking loser and told you to get out of my drive-through line. If I were the manager, I'm not giving this fucking loser a refund. You can go to corporate and try and argue with them that you got staph meningitis and whatnot. I'm not giving you that refund. But of course, you know, I say that from the privileged position now of no longer working in a fucking Little Caesars. I get to make YouTube videos all day, so I probably have a little bit of a different outlook than somebody whose job is probably on the line for stuff like this, but it's a sad day for society when you come to realize that this is how people really go around acting and behaving. And this shit is all over TikTok. Now, this is just one example, right, of just the types of losers that populate that website and just make assholes out of themselves and drive through lines and in public and whatnot for content, but that in and of itself is the problem. We've like normalized people like this going around in public, filming other people for TikToks, being a douchebag as quote unquote content, right? These people think that they can actually get something out of it. And honestly, even though the manager called him a moron and a liar, I think that she was nice to even give this guy the fucking $8 back for his pizza, because he insults her customer service and he like downplays the other employees. Oh, you guys work for this? Like, buddy, you're sitting in a Little Caesars drive-through returning a by the way, $7 a $7 pizza with a fucking doodled cross tattoo on your forearm that people can see. If it were up to me, you wouldn't have the legal right to vote, dude. Like, this is what happens when you don't raise your children properly. They turn into fucking grown, entitled man babies like this. So I don't know, if you're one of these TikTok folk who you go around doing this and you're seeing this video, man, stop being a loser, stop acting this way. It gets you nowhere in life. We all, you know, the rest of us collectively in society, we point and shame at you because you deserve it. Anyway, guys, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about losers on TikTok, and signing out. And that's a wrap on this video, but big shout out to my Optimus Nation supporters. You guys are the real MVPs. For $10 a month, you get access to loads of exclusive videos and archived live streams, my members only Minecraft server where you can possibly appear in gameplay, early access to all new uploads, an invitation to the private Discord, and much more.